Alright, so this video is going to be the first part of solving system of equations with three variables. This is going to go over the elimination method, and the next one will go over substitution method. There is no IRAT at the end of this one. That will be on the end of the substitution one. So after you watch the second one, your IRAT will be at the end of that one. So there is no IRAT at the end of this one. We're just going to go through the elimination method, but instead of doing just two variables like we had before, we're going to go with three variables. Okay, so x, y, and z. All right, so elimination method, what you kind of want to do is get something called the reduced row echelon form, and kind of the goal of that is to get a nice little right triangle of zeros, either on the top or the bottom half. And so what we're going to do here is that we're going to use the elimination method, and we're just going to work on with two equations at a time. Okay. So to start with this one, we're going to use the bottom two to start. Okay, and all I'm going to write here is I'm just going to write the coefficients. So it's 1, 4, 2, 16, and then it's 15, 6, negative 2, 12. Okay, this is just how I have it set up. All right, just so it's less writing. Now, if you remember in the elimination method, we want to try to get rid of zeros. Well, if we add these together, okay, which is what we're going to be doing, we're always going to be adding, we get 16, 10, 0, 28. Okay. Now, what we just got is going to replace one of these two that we used. Okay. And so I'm going to replace the one with the 15 in it because I don't want to have large numbers floating around. So now my new one that I have, which I'm going to write in a new color, so we're going to have 16, 10, 0, 28, or the one we just got. And then we have 2, 1, negative 1, 5, which is this row. And then we have 1, 4, 2, 16, which is this row. Okay, so I've replaced this one right here. Now, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to see if we can eliminate something. Well, since we can't just do it straight on, we have to multiply. So I'm going to multiply this first one by a 2. And what we want to do is see how we have a 0 in the z for this one. We want to get the 0 out one of these two. Now after I do that, after I multiply it in, I get 4, 2, negative 2, 10. And then we have 1, 4, 2, 16. Add, getting us 5, 6, 0, 26. Now that's going to replace either this one or this one. Okay, and now we'll move on to another color for this. Okay. So I'm going to have my first one still, 16, 10, 0, 28. And my next one, I'm going to put 5, 6, 0, 26. And 1, 4, 2, 16. This process takes a while. It's a lot of writing stuff down. All right. So now we've got to eliminate either the y or the x's of these top two because we have a 0 there. And so I'm going to try to eliminate the y's. And so what I have to do is I'm going to multiply the top one by a negative 3 and the bottom one by a 5. Okay. Now when I rewrite this, I'm going to do it down here, I end up getting negative 48, negative 30, 0, negative 84. And 25, 30, 0, and 130. Now I add those together, and I get negative 23, 0, 0, and 46. And now this is going to replace either this first one or the second one. And now going to orange to finish it up. Now when we rewrite it, I'm going to replace it with the first one. We'll have negative 23 x and then we have 0, 0 for a y and z is equal to 46. And then we have 5x plus 6y, and then 0 is equal to 26. And then we have x plus 4y plus 2z equals 16. And now what we would do is that we would solve. Look, we can find what x is. X is obviously negative 2. Okay, x is negative 2, just by solving the first one. Okay. And then we plug that into this x, find y. Y is 6. And then we plug both those into the last one to find z, which comes up as a negative 3. So as you see, this process takes a while. It's a lot of time. You've got to keep track of everything. Okay. So first you got to identify, okay, I'm going to eliminate one of these. I'm going to take two of them and eliminate one of the variables. Okay. In the first case, I eliminated the z. You replace that with one of the ones that you used. And then after that, you've got to replace the z or that letter in one of the other ones, of the other two that you did not replace. And then once you have that, you've got to eliminate one of the other variables using the two that you just found. Okay. So again, it takes time, and it's a lot of work for those. Okay. And to check again, you just plug all those in back into the original, and you'll see they all work out. All right. So now let's look at another example. Okay. So starting here, I'm going to use which ones am I going to use? Oh, I'm going to use this one and this one. So we have 1, 4, negative 5, negative 7, 2, 1, 5, 8. And as you see, when I add, the z's cancel again. 1, 5, 3. Okay. Now I'm going to replace that. So I'm going to replace it with the second one. Okay. But I'm going to rewrite it oh no, I guess I can rewrite it. It'll be 3, 5, 0, 1. Okay, that's your top one. And then I have 3, 2, 3, 7. Okay, which is this middle one. And then I'm going to reuse the top one again. Okay, you want to kind of keep ones and zeros in your equation because they're very helpful. Okay, and now I'm going to try to zero out the z in these two. So I'm going to multiply the top one by 5 and the bottom one by 3. That gives me 15. Oh, that gives me 15, 10, 15, 35. And then I have 3, 12, negative 15, negative 21. Add those together, 18, 22, 0, and what is that, 14? 14. Now this is going to replace this. It's going to replace this one. Okay, and that's just one that I've just decided to replace. All right. So now the three that I have are the one I just got, 18, 22, 0, 14, 3, 5, 0, 1, and 3, 2, 3, 7. Okay. So now I'm going to take the top two and I'm going to try to zero out another one. Well, the easier one to zero out will be the bottom, or will be the x when I multiply negative 6 in. So I have 18, 22, 0, 14, and then I have negative 18, negative 30, 0, negative 6. Add those, I get 8, 0, negative 8, and 0. So this is going to replace the top one because I don't want to deal with 18. Those big numbers are scary. And so I'll have 0, negative 8, y, 0, z equals 8. And then I have 3, 5, 3x plus 5y, 0 is equal to 1. So now I have 3x plus 2y plus 3z equals 7. And now what I would do is that I would solve each of these. So like the top one, we know that y is -1. Okay. And then from there we can plug the -1 here. It would be 3x plus or minus 5 is equal to 1, which gets us an x equals 2. And then we plug those in for the z, and the z gets us a 1. Okay. So as you see, this process takes a lot of time. You've got to make sure you keep everything organized. Okay. And sometimes it does take a while to do. Okay. So the best thing to do is to practice this and to get used to it.